All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Actionable Alignment Podcast. I'm here with one of my inspos from a brain perspective, a coach perspective, and an overall woman perspective. She's an absolute powerhouse. I'm talking about Kiara, who is Wellness with Kiara on Instagram, and she's a women's health specialist and a student naturopath with a deep obsession for biochemistry, if I do say so myself, and if she says so too. But it's driven by her own journey and just a really, really fascinating way, Kiara, that you research and piece together things in a beautiful, super digestible. Ever since I first watched your drawings of the insulin nightclub, muscles and the insulin trying to get into the nightclub. Extremely just beautiful diagrams, and I'm really excited to get into business today. Talking a little bit about estrogen dominance, which is what a lot of women struggle with, histamine, PMDD, and why so many women are stuck with poor hormone clearance, and some simple high impact steps that we can start doing to shift our health in the right direction. So, welcome. How are you?
Thank you. I'm good. I'm excited. I've been nervous that I'm here.
I'm excited. For those who may have not heard of you yet for some reason, because I've probably name dropped you like 4 on 4 episodes already. Tell me, where did your story begin with women's health?
Yeah, so it really began with myself. I've had a long history of feeling pretty unwell, chronically sick, and through my own healing journey, I became very, very fascinated and sort of obsessed with women's health. And then the more I learned about women's health, the more I realized that women's health is just biochemistry and physiology as a whole. And I was like, okay, yeah. So I got to learn the whole thing, not just about hormones. But yeah, so it was really greatly inspired by, my own struggles and everything that I overcame with my health.
That's amazing. And so did you start was it neurobiology that you started with in uni and then you moved to naturopathy?
Yeah, so I started with neuroscience and then I moved over to physics. So I've kind of
cool.
I was very a bit crazy outside of high school with my interests. There was always a love of science there, but I guess I just didn't really find my thing until now with naturopathy, what I'm doing, and I feel very, very aligned with it, and it's really my thing.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. And again, seeing the way that you can formulate and share what you've learned, it's one thing to absorb information, but it's another to be able to teach it, and you do such a beautiful job.
Thank you.
Now, getting down to business with estrogen dominance, what are some common symptoms for women who might not even really know where to start? They just sort of feel crappy. What are some common symptoms of estrogen dominance?
That's okay. Was symptoms of estrogen dominance. So estrogen is it's sort of like a growing hormone, and it does affect us in our brain quite a lot. And I think a lot of women are really dealing with a lot of symptoms of estrogen dominance, which I'll get into why later, but it's just a massive issue nowadays. So think of things like, it's going to be things like heavy periods, clots, pain, mood swings is a massive one. PMS.
I used to have first 4 symptoms we listed. I used to have them so badly. First 5
really?
symptoms. Yeah.
Yeah, it's it can be quite detrimental to quality of life and just existing as a person. It's really difficult.
Yeah.
Another big one is migraines. So especially if they come cyclically, around ovulation or mid-luteal, so just before the period comes, that's a really big one, and it's especially links to the histamine issues too in that sort of loop. Insomnia is also a big one. And I would say bloating too. Bloating, puffiness, water retention, that sort of thing. So a lot of these symptoms just do tend to show up in the luteal phase, but in really bad cases, they can just sort of be there all the time and cause a bunch of issues for a woman.
Yeah. It's just so these symptoms are so much treated as normal or symptoms that we just dull with analgesic instead of addressing why it's happening, but it just spirals. Like I have clients in their 30s and 40s who still, like, they've always just had bad symptoms, and showing now that, like, that's not normal and it doesn't have to be a way of life forever. Yeah, it could be extremely impactful. But this is something I only learned, I think, from watching a bit more of your content through Trinity, in regards to just the root cause of why it's sort of happening, which I found quite enticing. With these sorts of symptoms, and you mentioned histamine as well, for someone listening who's only just grasping the fact that they have a luteal phase, like they're just getting to know their cycle, what is histamine?
So histamine is a molecule. It's a really important one because it's required for a lot of things like alertness, stomach acid secretion. So that's going to be breaking down your proteins and making sure you're absorbing particular nutrients. It also plays a big role in the immune system.
Does that mean if we take an antihistamine, does that boost our immunity or decrease our immunity?
I think it would decrease the immune system or suppress it in some way, because what histamine does is it recruits like more immune cells to the area that needs it. So yeah, I'm assuming so. I don't know 100%. But a lot of people, like when you take an antihistamine and it's a drowsy one, it's because it's blocking the receptor. It's the H1 receptor that is responsible for alertness. So that's just a really interesting thing that I sort of learnt about that stuck with me.
Yeah, I think it's found it really fascinating. I sort of thought histamines were bad, and I think it was reading your Substack and understanding that, like, there's a histamine bucket. So if someone experiences a little bit more sensitivity to histamines around their luteal phase or their ovulation, that would probably be linked to higher estrogen dominance as well.
Yeah, so histamine has a really close role with estrogen. They're kind of like evil besties that feed into each other. Like if someone has high estrogen, then it's going to make mast cells, which is like where histamine comes from. It's going to make them more unstable, and then that's going to cause estrogen to increase more. And then it's just like this vicious loop that can be very, very debilitating. And that's where we see like more of those PMDD, like way more severe symptoms, along with like the other histamine symptoms, like more sneezing and mucus and higher heart rate. So it can feel like your heart's kind of beating out of your chest. So like that combined with the mood swings and even like rage and depression, like those really heavy feelings. Typically we see like this histamine estrogen connection being underlying all of that.
Yeah, I found it so interesting because I never would have linked the two, right? Yeah, linked the three as well with PMDD, estrogen, and histamine.
Yeah.
How do you feel, because these symptoms are quite common, like arguably I think every single woman listening with a cycle probably has had these or currently experiences them in their life. How did we get here? So as modern women, what have we sort of, I guess, let come into our life as a regular part of the routine that's created this sort of a feedback loop where our body's like, enough?
Yeah, so many things. It's so much. I think the life we have now is very estrogenic, and we're just being like attacked from all angles. So like a lot of things is going to be stress. That's a massive one. Like we spoke about the nervous system and how important that is in our Trinity calls. So it really underpins everything, as well as just like LEA. So that's basically the science term for undereating, not eating enough to fuel your goals and your lifestyle. We have a lot of artificial light at night. So that's going to be playing a huge role in circadian rhythm, hormone levels as well. Like blue light directly impacts our hormones, and we really need melatonin, which is only secreted in response to darkness, as a really good anchor for our circadian rhythm, and it also acts as a really powerful antioxidant. So it's going to be really powerful against inflammation, and definitely has an interplay with the hormones. There's so many as well, ultra processed food, so just generally shit quality food. Even like our meats and xenoestrogens is a big one. So like the pesticides, the antibiotics, all of that's getting in our food system is just not good. Tap water comes under that too. As well, so many women are constipated, which is like, it's crazy to me because I see so many like reels and kind of jokes on social media. I don't know if you've seen it, but these girls are like almost glorifying how they're constipated and like, oh, I haven't pooped this week. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like,
yeah, like hot comes from IBS. Did you see that trend?
Yeah. Like,
no. They don't need it.
No, I know. Like, why is this being normalized? It's just terrible. So yeah, like constipation is a huge one. And then like xenoestrogens. So these are like the toxins that are coming from the environment. It's going to be things like fragrance, parabens, plastics, mold is even one of them, pesticides. They're just absolutely everywhere in the environment, and it's something that you need to be so cognizant about and aware of to make sure that you're not getting exposed to these substances on a daily basis. And especially when there's like a big anti-aging culture, beauty culture with women, we feel the pressures from society and externally to just really upkeep our appearance, and that just leads to us absolutely slathering our bodies in these products, whether that's like makeup or perfumes or lotions, hair wash, body wash, going to the nail salon every 2 weeks. Like, it just ends up being way too much for our body to handle at a given time.
That was like in terms of something that I not battle with, but it's quite a big thing to unravel. Xenoestrogens are everywhere. And when I speak to most girls about it and they first have no idea, it sounds quite overwhelming, but it also, there's like a weird brain open loop that you might be able to better explain as well than I can right now. But there's this weird loop where, because it seems so catastrophic, we register it as like not real. So it's like, oh, it's everywhere. Like, so xenoestrogens are in my candles, in my body wash, in my soap, in the plastics in my clothes, in the food that I eat, rather, like yada yada. It's so overwhelming, I'm just going to ignore it. Have you had that sort of a response or heard of that sort of a response before? How do you usually navigate that?
Yeah, I can understand it. It's sort of like a helpless feeling, like, oh, well, everything's trying to kill us anyway, so what am I going to do? But
yeah, exactly.
The way I see it is that you can approach it systematically and like have a process about it, so that it's not just like you're throwing out absolutely all of your belongings and everything. You know, you just start with the most high leverage stuff. It's going to be like your water and air. If you start with those two, like, it's so much better than anything else. And then you can also just like start to swap out things one at a time as they run out. So that also helps a lot with the financial aspect of it. It's like, oh, my body wash ran out, like, let me look for a low tox option, and then I'll just do that one. So it's more approaching it like one at a time, and it gives the power and the control back to you for the pace that you set. Because like, it's okay if it's a process, it's okay if it takes years, like it has for me. I haven't like, yeah, I've been doing this for years and I'm still swapping things out. So yeah, like it's I understand though where that perspective is coming from, but you can definitely do things about it.
Yeah, I like that, the systematic approach. I think one thing that's really important to remember is like, if you had no idea, say a woman stumbled across this podcast by accident now versus if she stumbled across it in 6 months. It's like you can still create an impact. You're not 6 months behind if you just choose to go one little thing at a time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I like that. So water and air. And so is that an air purifier in your bedroom or just open windows?
Yeah. So if you can get an air purifier, that's really great in your bedroom. So like, where you're sleeping most of the night. Otherwise, air is a great one. You need to be like opening up your house every day so that everything, all the gunk inside your house isn't just like rotting in there, let some airflow through. There's also air purifying plants and even beeswax candles purify the air too.
I didn't know that about beeswax candles. That's cool.
Yeah.
I love a good candle. Obviously I stopped using them that much, but like I love the whole energy of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. I knew beeswax candles were non-tox, but I didn't realize they also did more to the air. I feel like it's crazy the biology of everything that is natural. When we swap back to it, there's usually a few different things it can do. It doesn't just exist. And yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah. No, that's the beautiful thing about nature. Definitely.
Yeah, we're all intertwined.
Mm.
You also, Alan, like artificial light at night.
Yeah.
That's the one looking at the at the drawing. Artificial light at night. So oftentimes we feel that if we've got just a little bit of overhead lights on, it should be fine, especially if we feel like we don't take that long to fall asleep. So for someone who falls asleep like 5 to 10 minutes after getting into bed, but they have their overhead lights on all night up until that point, which is obviously artificial light and blue light, how is that impacting their health?
Yeah, it absolutely is. Whether you feel it or not, whether you have good sleep or not, it is impacting your circadian rhythm. And we know this because shift workers, especially, they are at so much higher risk of things like cancers because of how powerful melatonin is. And actually, as well, a really, really interesting thing that I kind of stumbled upon was that blue light can actually increase insulin, like irrespective of food. So
yeah, wow. Continue. Sorry, I was just wow.
Yeah, no, all good. Yeah, so like it's definitely playing a role on your hormones because as well, like all of our organs run on sort of these like internal clocks, and they only know what the time is based off the light signals that your eyes and your body are receiving. So if that's all whack, then everything else inside our body is not going to be working or doing its thing at the right time. And that can just lead to so many issues. It's quite like broad and far reaching. So yeah, it's kind of hard to be specific without me yapping for a bit longer. But yeah, it's
as long as you like.
it's a big deal. And it's definitely something that's really easy to get on top of.
Yeah. And similar sort of a thing. It's like you might not swap out your overhead lights to all like blue light and flicker free, but like one little lamp at a time, your reading lamp that you keep by your bedside table, like being able to sort of adjust that. Those little things can be extremely impactful. Yeah. My mind just goes like, like when we start talking about light and circadian biology. With constipation, again, like women who are pooping. So can we define constipation? What is your definition of constipation for someone who's struggling with estrogen dominant symptoms? What degree of pooping do they need to be doing, daily or otherwise, to ensure better sort of toxin and hormone clearance, like detoxing?
Yeah. So what I look for is 1 to 3 times a day, not a week. And a Bristol 4, if anyone knows a Bristol stool chart, or you can look it up, we want a Bristol 4, so it's just like solid and well formed. You're not dehydrated, there's not too much liquid.
Yeah, a nice sausage.
Yeah. And then you want to just feel like a sense that you're fully evacuated. So you don't want to feel like there's still something there, even though like nothing's coming out, if that makes sense. So it needs to be satisfying. Like you got to feel good after you poop, and then it's got to hit those other 2 criteria, and then I would consider that to be pretty good.
I love that. 1 to 3 times a day, guys, and a Bristol stool chart 4. I'll pull a picture up when we put that on a little social post. Okay, so with that, you really like to get into the podcast today. With estrogen dominance, so we've got a lot of these symptoms. We're assuming we may be estrogen dominant. I don't think I wrote this as a question, but is it possible to have estrogen dominance without a super high reading of estrogen on a blood test?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. So
how does it work?
Estrogen can actually go into tissue. So like we know that it can be a bit more present in fat tissue, and also if you think like more of a, I guess, disease state, it'll be in endometriosis lesions, and they will actually make their own progesterone too. So yeah, they're not just hanging around in the blood. It can be in other tissues in the body, and then that's not easily picked up by a blood test. So something like a Dutch test is a bit more of a better reading of that, because you also get to see the metabolites and like the different phases, like the liver and gut phases that can give you like more of an idea of what's happening. So yeah, but symptoms are generally pretty telling and like quite easy to gauge.
Yeah, we're in a very like pro-estrogen heavy society at the moment. Or estrogen storage and constipated society. With estrogen dominance, how does it happen in the body, or what's happening in the body? And how and why, I guess, does it accumulate? So why can't, if we're bleeding every month, can't the estrogen just go?
Yeah. This is a can of worms. There are so many factors to this. So basically you can produce too much estrogen. That's a big one. So that's going to come from things like high body fat percentage, because of a process called aromatization that happens a lot in the fat tissue. It's basically converting your testosterone, your androgens, to estrogen, and that just happens on its own, regardless of your menstrual cycle. So there's that, and then there's like conditions like endometriosis, where the lesions will make their own estrogen to help promote its own survival, because it helps it to like grow more, I guess. We can also have like nutrient deficiencies, which is a massive one. So that's going to impact processes like our liver detox. So both phases, phase 1 and phase 2, they, like, for our liver to process all of the things that we come across in the world, we need so many nutrients. It's going to be things like your B vitamins, your amino acids like glycine and taurine, and other things like sulfur, magnesium, zinc. There's like this really cool picture, because I'm a picture girly. I love diagrams where it shows all of the nutrients needed in phase 1 and 2, and it's just like a massive list. Like, so that's why like your nutrition and really being on top of that from like a food first perspective, meeting your nutrient needs, is really, really important. We also have like sluggish bile, and this is also like sort of another catch-22 because estrogen can make bile a bit more sludgy, and that's not ideal. We want it to be like more sort of like thin and free-flowing. So if you're not producing enough bile, then it doesn't really have like a way to get out. And then we can also have dysbiosis in the gut. So overgrowths like candida, bacteria like E. coli is a big one. Any sort of form of SIBO, even like methane dominant SIBO, because that's going to cause more constipation in its own right. That's going to be basically impacting the exit route for estrogen. And then we have stress is a big one, cortisol, and just the many impacts that has on the body. It's going to be a big one as well. And then estrogen coming in from the xenoestrogens in the world.
Can I ask, so if I'm a girly who loves Saturday nights and I go out and I have 3 to 5 cocktails, it would probably be a large number if I was someone who still went out and drunk. But how does alcohol affect all of this? So if I'm listening to this and I still want to be able to socialize and I'm not across stopping alcohol at all, because you mentioned in terms of nutrient deficiencies, and obviously alcohol depletes a few vitamins and minerals. It's also not very good for stress or like bacteria or anything, in fact. But what would you say, is there not much I can do to change my symptoms unless I decide to stop drinking? Or could I technically drink 1 to 3 drinks on a weekend if I was struggling with this sort of a thing?
It's hard because like there is no amount of alcohol that is okay for the body, really. So I would say it's depending on the severity of your symptoms, like how bad do you feel? How bad is your body responding to your choices and your lifestyle? And then I guess figuring out what you're okay with and what trade-offs you're making. Because if your health is really important to you and you're really suffering, it's impacting your relationships, your work, your life, then you need to decide what's going to give, because obviously the lifestyle you have is contributing to how you're feeling. So I feel like it's more of a psychological thing than anything. If you're dealing with more of a mild case, like maybe 1 or 2 drinks a week isn't gonna be that bad, but then again, it's like it's one of the most I guess toxic things that you can consume, especially in excess, like when you're on a night out and stuff.
Yeah, stop robbing Peter to pay Paul, guys. That's the 411. Yeah, I definitely I like the think about the severity of your symptoms and whether it's worth it or not to you. I think the generation just below us, like there's this weird sort of 25 to 35-year-old group of people still drink quite a bit, but I'm pretty sure it's under 20 or under 25, and they're drinking less than all of the previous generations before them. So even the kids, there's healthy TikTok. It's like kids are so much more, not kids obviously, but like younger adults are so much more of the health consequences and not even getting into drinking. So there's this weird band of adults who it's like a little bit of cognitive dissonance. Like you can see the manifestation of your habits, but alcohol's just so good, or I don't want to be the weird person in my friend group. And it's like, you're not weird, and you probably inspire the friend group to turn things around. Or if not, like cutting out toxic things like alcohol, maybe you can minimize time with your friends who drink a lot and don't see a problem with it.
Yeah, that's a big one. Yeah, Gen Z isn't drinking or like even partying as much as what I've seen.
Yeah, Gen Z, that's what I meant to say. It's crazy. It's I never thought I would see it, because I remember, were you a big drinker? Did you ever get into drinking? No, I think
I've drank probably 5 times in my life. That's it.
I love that. I used to go to the bar, like the security guards knew me by name. And it would get so busy. So on happy hour, I would quadruple park and buy like two for one cocktails. So take four back with me to the table. So I didn't have to line up again for a while. And then when I ran out,
Crazy.
yeah, but that was the thing. It was cool. And then it really wasn't, which was great. Yeah, so it's one thing. I have clients. I'm not sure about you. Do you have clients who are still like, I don't want to give up drinking yet?
I actually haven't come across many that are like really holding on to the idea of still drinking. But I always sort of frame it to them as a phase. Like, if we can do this for a phase and then get you better, we can look at then adding in like the odd drink on a date night or something. But, just for now while your body is healing, let's not add some more pressure onto it.
I like that. So we can do a commitment. Like, you stay with the same guy for like 6 months or a couple years. You can stick to your estrogen dominance protocol for a few months.
That's so funny.
So that's how it happens, or that's sort of how it accumulates in the body. What's happening in the body with estrogen dominance then?
Yeah, so it's going to be really causing a lot of these sort of symptoms. So we're just coming back to that. If it goes on for like way long than it needs to, then that's when we start seeing like things growing in the body where it shouldn't be growing. So like, again, that's endo lesions. It's like fibroids, polyps, cancer. Even it's going to start affecting your brain too. So, and even DNA damage. So, like, we have some metabolites that are more toxic, and if you keep getting exposed to that over and over, then it's going to start causing these types of issues. So we have like a massive breast cancer epidemic now. Like, the rates just keep going up and up, and it's really scary. And I think that the factors that we've sort of spoken about today are like a huge reason. Also, the oral contraceptive pill and just how that's given out like candy definitely has contributed to this, what we're seeing now.
Yeah, wow. I knew endo and fibroids and like cancer just off the top of my head. But polyps, brain, and DNA, like it really does affect everything. Yeah. What would you say are the low-hanging fruits to start at with getting our shit together? Because right now, everyone listening, I hear you. I'm also, no, it's okay. I've watched the workshop a few times, so I'm not as overwhelmed. But it can be super overwhelming the first time you hear that all of these symptoms are impacted by all of these different things. Like we said, the sort of overwhelm at the start. What would the low-hanging, really easy sort of things for me to implement from today be to help my body better process estrogen clearance?
So it's going to be definitely dialing in your light environment. So I'm going to draw a little sun here. So getting morning light in the morning and sunset light into your eyes is going to be really supportive. And then like minimizing, your artificial light at night. Those both things, they're free. They're going to make really great strides in your health generally, but also with your hormones. Another one would be sorting out the constipation, whether that's a deeper issue like SIBO or just like simple. There are some things you can do that are like more accessible and easy to do to kind of help your bowel movements. So it's going to be things like kiwi fruits, having a squatty potty in your bathroom so you get like in a more biomechanically favorable position. And potassium is going to be really important too. So think of things like coconut water, pomegranate juice. That's just like an all-star pomegranate juice. also potatoes too.
All of the best things in life.
Yeah. And then it's kind of hard to find, but if you can get your hands on some aloe juice too, that's going to really encourage bowel movements.
Is aloe vera juice different from like aloe, because there's aloe vera in a leaf juice that I think you can get from some like health food shops or chemists, and then there's like the aloe vera juice in the like Chinese market, which like the Asian grocer, the really yummy aloe vera juice with the chunks in it.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm
not
not
sure
sure
if
if they. Yeah, I would probably go for the inner leaf, like the one they have in the health shop. I'm not sure of what they use in like the commercial drinks.
Yeah. Cool. We've got quite a few options there to make sure all the ladies are pooping multiple times a day, at least once. Kiwi fruit, squatty potty, potassium, potatoes, aloe juice, if you can find it, and then exercise. So tell me, should I exercise more?
You want to find the sweet spot that's not too much, not too little. A really nice split that I've found works really well is just like 3 strength sessions a week and then going for a walk every day. That's like going to put you in a nice spot where you're not like killing yourself every day in the gym, but you're still doing enough to like build muscle and get the nice metabolic effects of training.
Yeah, I like that. And if I'm training, so if I train 6 days a week, you're telling me to train 3 and I'm crashing out, then am I able to train for, like, can I train for 90 minutes or 2 hours if I'm only training 3 days a week, or should I keep it under 60?
Yeah, I think how well you're fueling yourself becomes really important here. So if you're going to train over an hour, you're going to need some sort of like intra-workout carbs to help fuel you along. And your nutrition, your calories better match up to how much exercise you're doing. Like if you just really don't want to give up the training sessions, like I expect to see your calories way higher than like you probably think, and a number that's going to feel scary.
Yeah, that number does like feel scary for a lot of women. To be out of like low energy availability. Do you have, I know I mentioned it the other day, but do you have the stats on you?
The stats on like how much food to eat?
Yeah, like calories for your body weight.
I think it's 0.35 calories per kilo. 3.45 maybe. I need to double check that.
I've got the thing in my favorites, the table, but now I can't even find my photos. So 0.35 to 0.45. So say if we went 0.4 and times like 75, for example, that would be 30 calories. I've entered the wrong thing. Ignore me. Yeah, I found it the other day.
Yeah, my number might be completely off. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's
yeah.
I'll find it, and then when you do the calculation, it's going to be a scary number, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, massively. It's a lot higher than we think, girls. I think for a 60-year-old woman, 60-kilogram woman who's not training, I think it was still at like 2,400 calories a day.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, and that's what 70-kilo women who train 6 days a week are scared to eat. And the number for us girls is much higher. Like I've been trying to work myself up to 2.6, but then ideally want to get closer to 2.8 and then 3. It's hard. And there's so much, you got to really trust that your body can do the thing. Otherwise, you create more stress.
Yeah, of course, definitely. Slow and steady is fine too. Like, increase by 25 to 50 calories a week if you're scared.
Yeah. Yes. Cool. So exercise, not too much, not too little, just the right amount. And then
lymphatic drainage is good as well. So there's like the big 6. Do you know it?
No.
If you open up like all of the lymph nodes in your main areas. The guy that sort of like popularized this is called Stop Chasing Pain. And so you can find his tutorial for Big Six, like on YouTube, and then just doing something like that, and then getting some shakes out or some jumping is going to be really great.
In the show notes.
Mm-hmm. That sort of like ties into nervous system regulation too, but some sort of like somatic practice in the morning and evening of your day is going to be really supportive, just generally for your hormones too. And this is a bit of like a deeper conversation, but also doing an audit of what's draining your life, whether that's like your job or your relationships, your environment. It's going to be impacting you and how you feel in your body, whether you realize it or not. And it's definitely going to be affecting your biology.
Yeah. A lot of people, again, it's just so you just get used to being in the shit that you forget life can actually be really beautiful. You don't have to stay at XYZ job or in XYZ relationship, but it's like they can be big scary jumps, but they can save you thousands of dollars in supplements and therapy.
Yeah, definitely. As well, like some functional foods is going to be really great. So we have things like the carrot salad is a famous one.
Repeat carrot salad.
Yeah, Mr. Repeat. Mushrooms too. They're actually an aromatase inhibitor as well. So it's kind of like a double whammy.
With mushrooms, Kiara, is this any mushrooms? Like, can I just get the white mushrooms from the shop? Or special
white button mushrooms.
White button mushrooms. Oh.
So just the most basic ones. Pomegranate is another big one. The juice is great, so like 150 to 200 mils a day, and you're sweet. Stewed apples is good for the pectin content, so that's a really nice supportive fiber that's going to like bind to anything and help your body get rid of it. And then we have like our cruciferous vegetables like broccoli.
And so with stewed apples, the pectin is in the skin?
Yeah, it's in the skin.
Yeah.
So you do need to keep that on. So just be like mindful of washing it properly and stuff.
Yeah. Give it a bath.
Yeah. And a bit of a scrub.
Yeah. Carrot, mushroom, pomegranate juice, stewed apples. Is there anything else you can think of?
I think as well as like your nice meats too. So like meats and dairy. If you can tolerate dairy, it's a really nice food, very nourishing to have in. Especially like the slow cooked meats is going to be really wonderful for the gut. So it has glycine in it, which is very anti-inflammatory. It's also really great for liver support too. So like not relying too much on muscle meats like your chicken breast every day. It's going to be great. And then
I was just going to say with muscle meats, because I'm having this issue with my partner, but this isn't my relationship therapy session. But I was giving him, because he's moved in, so he's eating like a bit more of my food now, some fattier cuts of meat, because it's like not just, again, the muscle meat, like just, I'm like, this has more nutrients in it. And his tummy got quite upset, which I know can be quite a common thing when people feel like there's a richness to fatty meats, where they're like, oh, I just want the lean one because it sits better. What do they commonly, if someone's struggling with like a fattier cut of meat, to digest it or for it to sit well, what's usually happening there? Sorry, I didn't want to forget that.
Yeah, no, that's okay. So I would look at it as potentially like a bile issue. So we need bile to break down and absorb our fats. And if that's not flowing nicely or it's not being produced enough, then it can cause a lot of those issues, like nausea or even diarrhea after fatty meals. So really simple sort of like, I guess, support to this would be having a bitter food before meals. So the bitters are going to stimulate the gallbladder to release bile, and it's just going to be like a natural digestive enzyme. So yeah,
you go. I was just which bitters.
So it's going to be things like rocket, radicchio, radish, artichoke. Yeah,
Yeah,
those are the main ones.
I like that. So, girls, it's time to get some more fattier cuts of meat. Some also buko in the slow cooker.
Yeah.
Mm. Cool. Okay, thank you. And then dairy as well.
Yeah, dairy. If you can, I think most people can find a way to incorporate dairy. Like we have lactose-free milk available. We have low lactose cheeses. Even like goat's dairy can be even better tolerated than cow's dairy.
If I break out from dairy, is that like my skin breaks out from dairy? Is there a way that I can fix that? Because I know as well, I think we were talking about this the other day, but women are like quite deficient in calcium. And we, in this modern day, we don't have a lot of dairy because like dairy's one of the foods that were demonized by the government at some stage. When we got milk. Yeah, what's happening there with skin if someone avoids dairy for that reason? Do they have to avoid it forever?
No, so I would really look into the gut for that, like either leaky gut or some sort of overgrowth. It can cause an intolerance to dairy. So I was actually lactose intolerant before I did all of my healing. And then after I worked really hard on my gut and cleared out everything, I was able to tolerate that again. So yeah, I would definitely look into your gut health, especially if it's not like a true allergy. It's like if it came on after a particular time, like after antibiotics or a stressful event or something like that. Also, the quality too is important there.
Yeah. Okay, so definitely some good things. There's so many things I'm like, this will be relevant for this client. This will be relevant for this client. Thank you. So free needle movers, we've got a good little bits and bops of food, and then some lifestyle, light hydration, light hygiene. What are the biggest bang for your buck? Are there any more that you can think of? Zero cost, easy to implement from today?
I have a low cost, like a $10 one, is tracking your cycle.
Perfect. We'll move into then. So biggest bang for your buck needle movers, that there is a cost associated, but $10. Is that $10 a week?
No, like you can just one-off purchase a thermometer.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Cool. And so cycle tracking, how would that help me with my estrogen dominance?
So it's not going to change anything, but it's just going to be more of an awareness tool. And what I find with my clients is that once they start tracking, they end up finding out so many things about themselves and make connections to the other things in their life. So it's just a really beautiful way to have a bit more awareness with your body. And then you can also sort of like gauge particular things with your health based on what your temperatures are doing. So you can really easily see if you're under eating by low temperatures or low thyroid, even that's an indicator of. And then if you see like a bunch of zigzaggy, sporadic temperatures, like it's going to be stress or some nutrients. If you're not getting that spike in the second half, we know you're not ovulating. So then we know what to do there. So yeah, it's just more of like a way to see the patterns of your body. And then it gives you some more like empowerment and can even like confirm your intuition of what you're feeling. Like it's a really good way to know that like, okay, I'm in luteal, I'm probably going to feel like this. So let me adjust my life around that instead of just pushing through.
So $10, we've got a thermometer. What else? We mentioned water filter before. What type of water filter do you
have? I have the ceramic, what's the name? I think it's from the Village Pottery or something. It's like a ceramic little egg thing. But I started out with a jug for $100.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, there are like lower cost options that you can do instead, and then you can always upgrade later if you want. But yeah, like a water filter jug would be really good to purchase next, like instead of going shopping for some random things. Like invest back into your health.
Yeah. Like, I use the Waters Co filter jug, which
that's the one.
Very handy. I think she might have a hole in the bottom of it though at the moment. We'll find out.
Oh, that's not good.
Might be time for a new one. Cool. So jug or benchtop filter. Now, I get quite a few people who have the Brita. I don't mean to hate on Brita on record, but that have the Brita or the zip tap is the same one. It doesn't remove necessarily everything. Like some of them don't remove fluoride; they just remove heavy metals. How important is it to make sure you get a particular quality of filter rather than just I'm getting this because it's filtering the water doing something?
Yeah, I think it is important to get a filter that's getting out the most contaminants as possible. Because we know that fluoride can impact the thyroid and a lot of other things with your cognition too. So just because that it's filtering some things but not the other, I would still prioritize getting a good filter that's going to do the job and then just stick with that over buying a less quality version and then having to upgrade later. It's buy once, buy it right is my philosophy.
Yeah, I like that. And it's like the Water Co filter. You buy it with the pack of the filter, like the little filters, and it basically works out it's about $30 for 3 months of filtered water. If you were buying water out even just a couple times a week over the course of a week or 2 weeks, you would have spent $30 when you could have filtered it, gotten a nice Stanley with a stainless steel straw, and been on your way. Okay, cool. So filter, water, thermometer. What else can you think of? Anything you recommend?
I guess the squatty potty. That's a cheap one.
You can probably get a squatty.
I guess from there you would just be looking at some really targeted supplements that are relevant to your context, I guess.
Yeah. So we're only spending about $250 all up, guys, and you'll have 9 months of filtered water, a thermometer, and a squatty potty. That's worth the investment. So common supplements that you would recommend for someone who they're like, okay, I'm changing my stuff over gradually lifestyle-wise and replacing products. What are common supplements that, again, if I'm someone who I'm just getting into this and maybe I feel like I can't afford to have direct one-on-one support, but I suffer really badly from all these symptoms, what would you say?
Yeah, there's quite a few. So magnesium is a big one, especially in a good bioavailable form like glycinate or acetyl taurate. That's going to do so many things. It's going to affect your nervous system and your sleep and liver detox and everything. It's involved in so many things in the body. We can also look at B vitamins. So especially if you're dealing with PMS, B6 is a big one. But it's kind of gotten a bad rap because of some companies putting in the not so absorbed form into their supplements, and everyone's freaking out about it.
I'm looking at you, Blackmores. Know that law.
Yeah, but if you get the form P5P, that's going to be okay. So it's not going to cause you issues as long as you're not mega dosing it. But yeah, so that's going to be really great, especially if you've got that PMS presentation too. Yeah. Or just a general B complex is fine as well.
I like that. And so B vitamins, how are they going to help me? Because I know B vitamins will give me energy. What else are they doing in the body?
B vitamins are really important for your liver detox. They are as well important for energy production too, and everything comes back to mitochondria and how well you're able to produce energy. So those are the two main things that it's going to really help with. It's kind of coming at it at both angles, because B vitamins are sort of used everywhere in the body. They're kind of they just do so many things. It's a massive deal to get enough B vitamins.
Yeah. Cool. And it's hard to overdose on B vitamins. They're water soluble.
Yeah, they're water soluble, so there's not as much concern with issues as long as well you're getting the bioavailable, like the activated form. So another one that's kind of like important to keep in mind is folate. So you don't want to do a folic acid. You want to do like a methylfolate or a folinic acid instead.
Okay. So no folic acid. Is that because it's poorly absorbed by the body?
Yeah, and as well, a lot of people are walking around with the polymorphism, the MTHFR one,
Yeah.
which is like, I think we think it affects about half of the population. So that's sort of enough to warrant getting like the right form into everyone.
That's methylfolate?
Yeah, methylfolate, or if this is kind of like a bit niche, but if someone is an over-methylator and they get a bad reaction to methylated B vitamins, then you can go for a folinic acid instead. So that one's still bioavailable, but it's less likely to cause a reaction.
Cool. I feel like there's so many more people who are doing more tests these days. Tests, I don't know why that need to be like bunny-eared, but like Dutch test, stool test, that sort of a thing. In terms of being an over-methylator, would that be in a Dutch test or an organic acids test, or neither?
I think it is if you have the polymorphism. Some people can respond not so great, and then if you are having other methylation issues separate from that, you have to be careful with how, I guess, like quickly or how much you're giving those methylation nutrients, because it's like you need to remember that you're impacting a whole cycle and so many feedback loops that you don't even see or even realize. So we just need to go sort of like low and slow in that situation. Some people can also react poorly if they sort of like have dealt with mold, or if they're dealing with mold. That was definitely something applicable to me. I was getting like histamine reactions to my B complex when before it wasn't an issue. So
what happened with your mold? When did you realize that it was mold, and how long were you living in?
I'm so traumatized from it.
Yeah.
So at my partner's family's place, there was like a little granny flat we were staying in at the back, and we were living there probably for like 2 years in total. And then as I was like learning more about health, I realized I found out that like where mold can hide, and I was like, oh, let's like look at the aircon and clean the aircon. Like I just want to make sure there's nothing there, because like I was getting like really bad fatigue and like cognitive symptoms, and just wasn't responding to anything, and I was doing so much with my health, but nothing was changing. And we opened it, and it's like kind of faces us as we were sleeping, and we had it on like most nights as well, so we were really exposed to it. We opened it, and then there was all this black mold everywhere, and I was like, I freaked out. I freaked the hell out, and we moved out in a week. I was like, we need to get the hell out of here. But when I sort of like when I faced it and opened it, I guess like it released the spores more than usual or something. Yeah. I developed this cough that was like really, really bad. So I must have like inhaled it, and it got into my lungs, and I was coughing like crazy constantly. And it was only until we like moved to where I'm staying now that the cough kind of like went away.
Yeah.
And then that sparked a whole year of protocols and healing and doing so much with my diet and my lifestyle to kind of like get it all out.
Yeah, that's massive. Yeah, and very hidden as well. Like the aircon, I only know that because a girlfriend had sent me a similar thing, a photo of her aircon. But that's common places for mold to hide, and how like, again, you're doing everything right, you're doing all of the stuff and still feeling so fatigued and all that sort of a thing. Mold hides in the aircon. Where was there anywhere else that took you by surprise? So maybe not like corners of wardrobes or something like that, but anywhere else where you didn't expect that there would be mold, that you found out, not that there was mold in your place, but like a secret spot for it to hide?
Yeah, so bathrooms are a really big one, especially with like poor ventilation, or like poor plumbing. If the house was a lot of like actually new builds and new apartments or houses that are going up are like so bad for mold because they're using really bad materials and they're not building it well and all of that. So like older places tend to be better for that. Wardrobes are a big one. Windowsills are another one. Food is another one too. So like your nuts and your seeds and legumes as well. They can be moldy. Even coffee can be moldy. So it might not be in your environment, but you are ingesting them through food, and then that can be causing issues too.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, I found out with mold and coffee, it's not actually like for freeze-dried coffee. It's not actually, say, how the freeze-dried coffee was stored, but it's how the beans were stored before they were turned into, like, it's the early days of the beans where the mold can be there, and that doesn't die off when something is freeze-dried and turned into its little things. So yeah, for people who think that there's a processing way to get rid of moldy coffee, I'm not sure there is. I think it's just better to buy organic, mycotoxin free.
Yeah, tested and all. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So magnesium, B vitamins, identifying mold.
Another really good one is taurine. It's such a nice little amino acid. Really good for anxiety and sleep too. But this one's basically going to be supporting the liver nicely, as well as glycine.
So
that's in your slow cooked meats.
That's what I was about to say. Would you be getting enough glycine per day from like a cup of bone broth, a cup of soup, or does it need to be like, should we mega dose?
So therapeutic doses are in the grams. So if you're trying to support methylation or support the liver with a stronger hand, then you'd be going for a supplement. But just like as a maintenance and a long-term lifestyle thing, then you can rely on like the bone broths and the slow cooked meats and stuff.
I like that. So yeah, so supplements, guys, for most of them should have an end date.
Yeah.
Need to really be a forever tool.
Yeah.
Cool. I like it. Anything else?
Yeah. Black seed oil. We love this one. It's it does so many things. Like there's a really cool chart picture that outlines like all of the things it does in the body, and hormones, cortisol, sleep, gut, cholesterol. Off the top of my head, those are all of the things it impacts. So it's a really nice, supportive, food-based supplement to keep in, as well as the immune system too. It's really good at making sure you don't get sick.
I thought it was crazy when I first started reading about black seed oil, and it's like, it really does, like, what does it not do? It has so many beautiful benefits.
Yeah. A really powerful supplement. I wouldn't use this without like guidance, I guess, but calcium D-glucarate.
What does that do?
So this is really good if you have coinciding gut issues and you think that could be contributing to it. So what it does is there's this like enzyme that can be high when you have a bacterial overgrowth called beta-glucuronidase, and it basically stops estrogen from exiting the body by like kind of putting a stop in its track when it's like binded with or bound to the molecule that's taking it out in phase 2 liver detox. So what that does is it lowers that enzyme to make sure that the breaking of the bond doesn't happen, if that makes sense.
Is it also oats can lower beta-glucuronidase?
I think so, but I haven't looked into it properly.
So calcium D glucarate. Cool.
Yeah.
Any other little ones?
Vitamin E is a really good one too. And then I'll say Progest E for symptoms. It's not going to solve the problem, but if you are really, really suffering with like PMDD or really, really painful, debilitating periods, then you can look at a bioidentical progesterone like Progest E. It's worked so effectively for my clients, myself, other women in my life. It's one of those things that if you need it, it's going to, like, you're really going to feel what it's doing for your body. It works so well for pain.
Yeah. That's the Repeat Progest E, hey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He really pioneered a lot of women's health back then.
Go Ray. With Progest E, is it true that if you have, what if I had synthetic progesterone? So like the doctor gave it to me, would it work in a similar fashion?
No, it's going to have the opposite effect.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So, I've heard a lot of women say like, "Oh, I'm on a progestin, the synthetic one, and I feel so much worse." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's just not it. Like, it's not going to be doing the things that you want it to do in your body. It needs to be the form that we have readily available."
So progestin has to be broken down by the body to be utilized properly?
It just doesn't act in the same way.
Mm.
So, like, it can kind of cause the opposite effects of what we want progesterone to be doing. So it can affect mood and sleep and weight and that sort of thing.
Okay, cool. So guys, let's maybe not do that. Say if someone's not ovulating or they're struggling with fertility, and so their doctor has given them synthetic progesterone. This is a random side tangent.
Mm-hmm.
Is that going to be helpful enough to move the needle?
No, absolutely not. That's getting you way further away from your goal. You are turning around and running in the other direction. So, like, you can't rely on medication to support a healthy physiological cycle if it's the thing that's suppressing your hormones from actually releasing at the right time and having your body work in the right way. So, with something like infertility, there's so much exploration you can do with testing and assessment, and so many different factors that the mainstream medical community just doesn't do, or they brush off, or they put you straight to IVF. But if your body's struggling to conceive, there's always a reason. Like that's what our bodies are made to do as women. Like it's what our biology revolves around. So if that's not working, there is something seriously wrong that's impacting that. And you're not deficient in a medication like a progestin or even the synthetic estrogen. Like they just suppress everything, turn the lights off, and get your body further away from the state that you want it to be in.
So synthetic progestin versus Progest E. So for someone listening who's like, hold on, didn't you just say I could take progesterone if it's in an active form? What's the difference between the two of those?
Yeah, so they're two different molecules. Progest E is the same progesterone that our body makes. So you're giving an equivalent, a 1-to-1 of what your body should be making or is already making. Progestins are synthetic, they're foreign to the body, and they're not going to be having the same effects.
Homework, girls. If you're on it, ask your GP why.
Yeah.
Is there anything else supplements-wise, or not that we wrote a protocol today by any means, we've created a nice sort of web of some beautiful help, but is there anything that you can think of that we haven't covered?
Yeah, just like with all of these changes that you're going to be making, we need to keep in mind that's going to take some time. I like probably around 3 months to see some substantial changes. It's just because of the life cycle of our follicles turning into eggs and all of that. So you can't expect to work at these things for a couple of weeks and for things to change drastically. It's a long-term game for us. So I'd be looking at least 3 months, or in some cases like up to a year or more, depending on, you know, what state you're in. If you're coming off the pill for like, and you've been on it for 10 years, it's going to be a while before everything switches back on again. But you can definitely start to see changes within the first month, especially if you like working with someone and they know what they're doing.
Yeah, it's definitely, I feel, in terms of being able to experience the change in symptoms, like giving yourself that leeway that if you don't notice too much of a change in the first 1 to 3 months as well, and there's been like years of not supporting your body's pathways, don't lose hope and think like, oh, fuck it, nothing's working. But stay focused. So I like that. So that was the last question. You answered it before I even asked it. But yeah, cool. So I like that because it's especially post-pill, or even, would you say similar sort of a thing for someone who's recovering their cycle? So maybe they've lost their cycle from overtraining, undereating, stress, getting their cycle back if it's been gone for a few years. Yeah, that would be same sort of a thing, waiting potentially for a few years and maybe not seeing improvements or as many as they want to.
Yeah, definitely. You really need to be committed to it, especially if you've lost your cycle. Like, food is going to be the biggest one, and you need to be eating a lot of food, enough food for a while before you start to see changes.
Yeah.
So yes, it applies to everything.
There's a good podcast. Have you heard of Eat More Carbs? It's about period recovery in athletes. But a nice little sort of like mental picture was that it's like you're running a marathon, which is great, like well done, but you don't know where the end goal is. You do know that it will, like the finish line where you get your first period. It's like, you know, you will, and it might be in the next few weeks, it might be in the next few months, but it's like not to lose hope, because every day you keep one foot in front of the other with it, you do bring yourself closer.
Yeah, definitely.
This has been amazing. So with a little bit of a summary to piece it all together, if we're experiencing some quite intense symptoms, heavy periods, PMDD, clots, pain, migraines, mood swings, insomnia, bloating or puffiness, there's a few different causes, and there's quite a few really like low-hanging fruit. The light thing is the biggest thing. Like for me, it's like lights don't exist. Once the sun goes down outside, I don't like a light on in the house. I'm going to get mad. Where can people find you and hear more from you, read more from you? Where can people just get more of this good stuff, women get more of this good stuff, so that they can start to become more friends with the body again?
Yeah. I'm on Instagram and TikTok. And then I also am putting out a new Substack article every week, and they are more like guides, protocols, really deep dives into the biochemistry. So that's like more of the nerd side, but I try to put some more practical stuff in there. And then maybe every now and then I'll do my own little drawing podcast, like the one I did the other day on YouTube.
That was really good as well. Again, similar sort of a setup, obviously, to today. But just so, again, there's so many processes where we're chasing a symptom and we think, oh, if I can fix the bloating by taking this particular supplement before eating, or like going low FODMAP forever, it's like it doesn't solve the issue. And your depth and ability to communicate very complex subjects and break it down is absolutely wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah, cool. Well, thank you guys for jumping on, and we will catch you in the next one.